Hey, you want to help? Why don't you call your boss and have her clear out the parking garage? We can take the body down to the tarp.
Have you ever had a day that feels like everything were so out of place, so fucked up? That was basically the premise of the movie Wolf. A movie that was directed and written by John Watts, who is the guy behind the MCU Spider Man trilogy. And this movie stars George Clooney and Brad Pitt, who joined forces after previously working in Ocean Trilogy and Coen Brothers Burn After Reading. The movie is packed with an eventful action sequence and the banters happening between the two of the lead, which is Clooney and Pitt.
Thanks. Happy to help. Dig. Punch.
But talking about this movie kinda got me thinking. It has been kinda staying in my mind since the day I finished watching it. It has left me wondering, what actually happened in this movie? Surely in the crime and action genre, especially with a lot of twists, a speculation can pop up from out of nowhere. These include crazy fan theories, what ifs, and the circulating Easter egg conversation, which act as a major force for a movie to become a cult movie. Take for example in most Tarantino movies.
I think so.
You think so? Tell me, Louis.
She's dead. She's dead.
But where'd you shoot her?
In the chest and the stomach.
And most recently like Knives Out. Movies like Pulp Fiction, Seven, Jackie Brown is just a tip of the iceberg in an example of cult movies that has been talked over and over in decades, mainly because the story has a different outcomes in a lot of viewers. But this is different with the movie Wolves. Even though the movie is serving twists and turns that can fuel discussion, it somehow felt ambiguous in the end. This has been seen in movie forums like Letterboxd, where the movie has a polarizing stand between the audience. Those in favor, who are fanatizing the chemistry brought to the screen by Pitt and Clooney after the work in Ocean Trilogy, and those who are criticize the movie for having lack of depth and lazy writing. But speaking of the truth, I felt the movie is confusing at times. I mean, the dots that John Watts trying to link after what's going on throughout the stories felt forced and awful in some kind of way. From there, multiple questions is popping up in my head like crazy. I mean, the questions like, who is the kid they have been going all around with? Who is the guy? Who is Lagrange? And what is the motive behind the delivery of the bricks? The thematic idea of a fixer is quite interesting, and it has a resemblance of Winston Wolfe in Pulp Fiction,
I'm Winston Wolfe. I solve problems.
who's basically has the same job as Pam and Margaret Mann to clean up the mess their client is going through. But with all the underlying plot, the movie is in danger of becoming another that movie that it's going down in an instant, which is a pity for a movie that I personally think has a lot of potential. And this is why the movie is desperately need a sequel. We have seen the ending, but the amount of information and scattered symbolism are a giant freaking mess around the plot. And to be certain, I kind of felt that the fixers didn't have any idea of what is the reason of them being clean. There's too much variable of the character and motive behind all of them. To sum up the movie, I actually have my own theory, and it's kind of messes up too. It comes from my thought of each of the character motives, excluding the fixer whose motives are crystal clear as they just want to finish the job as quick as possible. The real questions about motives stemming from other characters like the DA, the kid, Pam, Lagrange, and the guy. With so much going on, I can only assume about how the story unfolds. The assumption of the guy and Lagrange is working together in a pact of deal to frame Margaret or the final extermination of the Albanians is probably my wild guess. What I can only assume is that Lagrange or the guy stole the brick and they were planning to use the drug to damage Margaret's reputation as the DA, who is known to be so hard against drug trafficking in the town, so they can freely tackle the Albanian as the rival gang. The original plan evolves from framing against ambitious Margaret, and because that one didn't work out, so they orchestrated a plan to use the drug to kill the Albanians by making it a gang war and kill all the collateral damage. I personally felt if they make it more than 120 minutes and make the dots more clearer, it would have been a great ending for the movie. Thank you for listening to my review of The Wolf, and I see you in the next review. Bye bye.